Well, hello there, Gemini. It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Today, we are going to be doing your Equinox reading. So this is good from now until March 2023. So it's good for the next 6 months. This equinox is actually this week, September 22nd. It's a day of the year where no matter where you are, you'll have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. In the Northern Hemisphere, we are going to be celebrating the autumn equinox, and in the Southern Hemisphere, the spring equinox. But one of the wonderful things about the equinox is, it also helps to celebrate the end of one season and the beginning of a new season. So think about it, at the end of a season, a lot of times, we'll clean out our closet, getting rid of clothes that no longer, are going to work for us for one reason or another. So we may donate them or give them to a friend or dispose of them in some way. And then we have to go shopping. We have to find new clothes to put into our closet or pull out clothes that we have from storage. So what we're going to do in this reading is Spirit really wants you to recognize something that you have accomplished in the last 6 months, okay, since last March of 2022, to recognize something that you have accomplished. So we'll look at that first as something to celebrate. And then what we're going to do is take a look at what you can expect in the next 6 months, what's coming up on your journey, what obstacle you may encounter, and then advice from Spirit. So we're going to go ahead and get into this reading. If you're enjoying the content that I create, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, so let's see what we have here, Gemini. Okay, so for the last 6 months, we're going to start with that. Great adventure. Take a risk, venture forward. And I feel like this is the energy that you are coming into at the end of this 6 months. It's interesting because boats have really been in my readings a lot lately. Different kinds of boats. And in this situation, I feel as if the last 6 months you've been deciding who stays in the boat and who is over the edge, But the people, the situations, the relationships in your life, even the habits that you have yourself, limiting beliefs, right? Deciding what you want to keep in the boat and what is not going to stay in the boat. But this is the lovely energy of recognizing that at this time, you may feel like your boat is a little empty, right? You may be feeling like, well, I let go of a lot of relationships, situations in my life, but I haven't quite yet replaced them. And that is where this great adventure comes in, right? Taking a risk, venturing forward, looking at things, analyzing people, situations, relationships, and beliefs about yourself, habits that you want to start putting into your daily routine, right? All of that, what's going into your boat now that you've done a really good job of cleaning out your boat or your closet or whatever. So let's take a look at first what to celebrate. Now it's interesting. We have professional assistance, and then we have the Five of Cups. I feel for some of you, you may have asked for help, okay? And it does not necessarily have to be professional help, okay? You could have asked friends or family members that you truly trust. I feel like there's been some assistance in helping you to overcome this energy of the Five of Cups, of looking at what it is perhaps that you need to, to put out of your boat, so that you can move forward in a much healthier way. So this could have been, you could have gone to a nutritionist or an exercise coach to get some, advice or coaching about how to take better care of your body. You could have asked a financial planner about your, finances. You could have even, therapist or a divorce lawyer. You know, there's a lot of different things depending on your situation. But for some of you, it could have just been trying to have deeper connections with people that you trust in your life, and, you know, having conversations about how you feel about the things that are in your boat, and maybe perhaps a little bit about what do I keep in my boat, and what do I allow to either, you know, leave the boat, or I ask something to leave, right? The Five of Cups is an interesting energy too, because sometimes it means that you could have been focused for, you know, part of the last 6 months on what you have lost instead of what you still have. So it could be that for some part of the 6 months, you could have been focusing on what left the boat, right? The sorrow of what you had to, you know, have taken out of the boat. So you could have been kind of mourning a little bit about what was out of the boat instead of being grateful for what's still in the boat. But this is what you're celebrating. So I feel like there's two things you're celebrating. Number one, asking for help when you need it. Gemini, you're very independent, very great at problem solving. You're very much of a move it along type of person, right? You pull yourself up by the bootstraps and keep on going. But I feel like over this last 6 months, you may have had to ask for help. You know, once again, either professional or from family or friends to help you through this situation. If nothing else, to just talking it out with somebody else, because this was a difficult situation. And give yourself, this is what you're celebrating, give yourself a pat on the back. Celebrate the fact that you were willing to ask for help when you needed it. That really is important to celebrate. And then the other thing is to celebrate that you've turned away from looking at what you've lost and are grateful for what you still have, and also optimistic about what you are now going to be putting into the boat. I also feel like you're better at scrutinizing what comes into the boat. It's almost like you're patient. You're being more patient. Okay, my boat is empty or has just very little in it, but I'm fine with that. I'm not going to just start putting things in my boat to put things in my boat. You've learned that lesson, that just putting things, people, situations into your boat, whether they're really in alignment with what you truly want, or if they're in alignment with what somebody else wants for you, right, is a difference. And now you're only putting things in your boat that are in alignment with who you are and who you want to become. So what to leave behind? Okay, I feel like there's a true soul connection here. This is also your energy, but it's almost a sense of, you know, understanding what you're leaving behind is that you are worthy. You know, this is a sense of feeling that you're not worthy, that you're lacking, that you're not enough. It doesn't matter. It's almost as if some people or situations may have left your boat, or you could have asked these people or situations to leave the boat, because no matter what you did, it wasn't enough. It's almost as if you got to the point where it's kind of like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't have time, right, to concentrate on what I still have here, because I'm always still trying to make these people, these situations happy. And now you're realizing, wait a minute, I have to focus. I have to put my time and energy into what wants to be with me instead of what wants to jump out of the boat. So I love this energy of you leaving behind your feelings of unworthiness, people pleasing, you know, just over giving in, you know, relationships or situations. And relationships, whether they're romantic, family, friend, work, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, no, you're stepping into energy of understanding that you are worthy, and you're worthy to choose those things that go into your boat that meet your worthiness. Really lovely energy there. Okay, what to embrace as you go forward? Okay, so we have the Family card, and we also have the Four of Pentacles. A little bit about protecting family energies, and I'm going to clarify this. I think it's interesting. I feel like you are, you know, allowing some people, situations to leave your life, and yet at the same time, you could be recognizing that you maybe, even though Gemini, I know you're such a people person, right? But you may be realizing this does not necessarily have to be the people of the family, right, that you were born into or, grew up with. This could be a new soul family that you are truly seeking. It's the sense of what you're holding on to, what you're protecting, is the sense of having a community that is really in alignment with who you are. Whether you are truly related to them or not does not matter. It's kind of like I want to make really tight, connected, loving bonds with other people that are in alignment with me, whether I'm related to them or not. It's almost as if you're understanding that it doesn't really matter if you have, similar DNA or, bloods or whatever, right? It's kind of like that doesn't matter. You kind of ascended to a higher level to understand that family is really those people in your life that you want to be around, right? She's protecting the house here. The people in your life that help to support you have your back, and you support and have their back. So it's a sense of, I think, really changing your idea of what family really means. And I know that that has been a difficult lesson for a lot of you because our society puts a lot of almost pressure on us to, stay in these tight bonds with people that we're related to, whether those relationships are toxic or not, right? It's kind of like you're obligated to, be with your family. And I think that what you see now is that, no, I don't have to be with my blood relatives, right? I can be with those people that really cherish me, want to be with me, are supportive, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. They are there for me day and night. That's what family really is to me. I also, want to say that I think in the past you may have had your boat full of people because you do love people and you're a people pleaser. You're very mutable. So it was kind of like the more the merrier. Now I feel like you're kind of stepping into this energy of no. If I only have, 3 friends, I'm good. It's almost this sense of I would rather put more time and energy into building deeper connections with a fewer amount of people than to have a boatload of people that aren't there for me when I really and truly need them. For some of you, you may have gone through something really difficult over the last 6 months or even further back than that. And you really kind of realized who was there for you and who wasn't, right? And this is part of that journey, is kind of coming into this sense of, you could have had, maybe you had a physical ailment or, you were going through, a relationship breakup or something like that. And maybe your family, the blood relatives, were not that supportive of you during that. I mean, they might just, drop by and check on you or something like that, but they weren't really there for you at 2:00 in the morning. But you had some good friends, right, that were, or maybe just one good friend that was constantly checking up on you, really supportive of you during that time. And I think that that's what you're realizing, is that, okay, the people that were really there for me when I needed them, those are the people that I want to continue to build a deeper bond with. And the people that I only see at Thanksgiving or the holidays, it's not that you're not going to keep in touch with them, but it's like you're disconnecting, putting as much time and energy into those relationships so that you can put more time into other relationships that are there for you on a more continuous, consistent basis, right? Okay, so to recap the last 6 months, I feel like you've learned quite a bit. You're to celebrate asking for help when you need it. And also really taking a look at no longer grieving or spending time and energy worrying about the things, people, situations that don't want to be in the boat, and putting more time and energy and focus into what does want to be in your life, as well as those things you really and truly want in your life. And also changing your focus, your belief system around, what is a soul tribe? Who is my family, right? And the connections, who you want to put time and energy, the connections that you want to put time and energy into. All right, so let's take a look at what you have coming up in the next 6 months. Okay, we have fogged in and we have grace and gratitude. I love the grace and gratitude. Okay, fogged in, go slow, take time. And then through gratitude, joy expands. Okay, so Gemini, I think this is really interesting that you're getting the fogged in card. It's once again, look at this. We're on a boat. In fact, both of those boats are very similar, right? It's almost as if your boat is somewhat empty at this time, and it's about going slow. I feel like it's about going slow and really being choosy about what you are to put in the boat. I also feel like there's almost this need to surrender to divine timing. When we're kind of fogged in, where things slow down for us, it's really for us to have some time to either rest, relax, or, really spend some time reevaluating our life, our goals, and where we want to go. It's also sometimes a time where we are getting a lot of downloads, okay, where spirit is trying to, help us to ascend to a greater awakening, a greater understanding. And I feel as if, not to fear this fogged in energy. Instead, it is about really and truly embracing this fogged in energy, kind of like taking it as, I'm not going to say it's a break, okay? But I feel like, Gemini, you've been working so hard and for so long, and things have been happening so quickly for you. It's almost as if things are slowing down so that you can catch your breath so that they can speed back up again. So let's go to the tarot and see what we have. Okay, so what's new on your journey? Okay, we have dark thoughts, and then we have the 6 of Wands. I feel like what's on your journey is there could be a little bit of being fogged in, and then you get kind of caught up in the dark thoughts about, have you made the right decision about who's in your boat and who's not? And not to fear that, okay? Because we have the 6 of Wands energy. This is about victory. It's almost as if in these fogged in moments, okay, the dark thoughts, that you're going to recognize, okay, why this is here and how it is opening you up to something even more beautiful. Because look at this. We have on the bottom, we have angels of the 4 directions and the magician. The magician is your energy, of course, but I feel as in this moment of dark thoughts, you are going to, it's almost as if that's when you gain the light about how to move forward. I think for some of you, you're going to have a major shift, a major change in what is coming forth. Let me see. Yeah, you have some nice cards here. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, 7 of Wands, getting on top of all of this. Oh, okay. So we have the Page of Pentacles and then the Emperor. I want to take a look. Ace of Cups and then the World. I feel like you have new love coming in. It's interesting because if you look at this, okay, we have this fogged in, right? And we have the 6 of Wands, an energy of moving forward. But this is a fast moving and this is slow moving. And then we have the 8 of Cups and the 6 of Swords here. Both energies of moving on, okay? Moving away from a difficult time period that you had. I feel like the past 6 months is still reflected here. You're kind of starting this equinox. We're in a Mercury retrograde and will be until October 2nd, and then it goes direct, and then it goes into retrograde again October 10th for another couple of weeks. So I feel like you have this energy of going back. It's almost as if the universe, your spirit guides, are taking you back to situations. Now, I'm not saying that you are necessarily going to be reliving those situations. The way I'm seeing it is that you're going to see things that you have already gone through, lessons that you have already learned, but you're going to see them playing out in people around you. So you could have a friend that is going through something similar that you went through, okay? Deciding what stays in the boat and what doesn't, right? You could watch a movie, okay, that you're resonating with. You're like, wow, what? This is like my life, right? You could have tarot readings, right? Where you're kind of like, oh my goodness, that's my life. It's almost as if you're watching it, but you're not going through it again. Okay, Gemini, you're not going through it again. So don't fear that. I feel like it's almost like you're reading a book about your life, watching a movie or something like that. And you're kind of like, that's exactly what I went through. Okay, so the reason that you are having that, okay, going back through this, is that because there is this wanting, okay, with the high priestess here. Spirit is really wanting you to revisit how you moved on, because look, even when you're moving slowly, you're still moving forward, right? It's almost as if, this is so interesting. It's almost as if, like, Gemini, you're so forward thinking. You probably haven't spent a lot of time going back over like the last 5 or 10 years. I know from the comments, some of you have been struggling, trying to wrestle with this idea of a soul tribe, not being people that you are related to, right? Of being happy to have the more the merrier in your life. You've gone through such a big transformation. I honestly feel like Spirit is slowing things down and almost trying to replay your life or the last maybe 5 to 10 years for you in different scenarios. And once again, I don't think you're reliving them. Okay, it's almost like you're watching them in a movie, but it's so that you can almost like replay it, because part of your journey now is going to be helping other people to heal. How did you navigate through all of this, Gemini? I mean, it's kind of an interesting question. How did you navigate through all of this? Yes, you at times asked for help. You could have, actually asked for your spirit guides and angels to help you. Maybe there's a little bit here about, you may have started journaling, right? It may have been the very first time that you started watching tarot videos, right? It could have been the very first time that you were kind of like, what is going on with me, right? All these people want out of my boat and I haven't really done anything wrong. Why is everybody leaving my boat? You've had a spiritual awakening, and it's kind of like Spirit wants you to go back and kind of like plot it out. What did you do? How did you maneuver through that? Because once again, Gemini, you're so forward thinking, you may forget how you got this far. What is it? What are the things that you put into place in order to go through this great adventure? It's almost as if it's a debriefing. That's a weird word. That's what they're saying. It's a debriefing. So it's interesting because I feel like maybe part of it is that you don't even recognize how far you have come over the last 5 to 10 years. And I think sometimes when you see things playing out in a movie or with a friend or, maybe somebody in your family, and you're kind of like, oh my goodness, I remember when I was going through that. It was so painful, right? I feel like that is when you may get a little sad, because it's kind of like, oh, you could even have people in your life that are making, there are no mistakes, but you could be thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I could tell them what I know now. I wish I could explain it to them so that they would not have to go through that like I had to go through it, right? Because I feel like for some reason you may feel like you were stumbling around in the dark. I think that's what you're going to say to yourself. I don't know, Mary Sue. I don't know how I got through it. I was stumbling around in the dark. Well, the stumbling around the dark was listening to your intuition, right? And listening to your spirit guides and angels, asking, even if it wasn't actual people, human beings, right? You were asking for help from your spirit guides, your angels. You were asking for help all the time. And you were getting it intuitively. If you weren't getting it from other people, you were getting it intuitively. I think it's really interesting because you are a communicator, Gemini, and I feel like you are coming into this big epiphany, and it may not happen until the March 2023 equinox, right? That you understand. It's almost like Spirit wants you to go back. It's almost like writing a book about or creating a course or something like that. It's almost as if this knowledge, this recognition of what you did is important. For some of you, you may go back and start looking at it and then say to yourself, you know, I used to meditate every day when I was going through this difficult time, and now I don't meditate. Why don't I meditate? You know, and maybe you want to start putting that into play again, you know, into your daily routine. Or maybe you were journaling and now you're not journaling. You're like, well, things are good. And it's also kind of a review. Perhaps it is time to find time to meditate or to journal or to do some of those things that really helped you through a difficult time. So your biggest obstacle, decrease and the Nine of Swords. I feel like you may encounter a decrease in something. So let's see what it is. And remember, Gemini, your obstacle is what you are overcoming in the next 6 months. You are going to overcome this. I really feel like for some of you, it is your sense of self-worth. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Wow, those same cards, Tower on the bottom. Whew. All right, I feel like you have somebody coming in suddenly, surprise, with some type of offer. You have the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Swords. I feel like they are coming in very quickly. Queen of Swords is your energy. King of Wands. I think you're just not going to know what to do with this energy that's coming in, because look, you have the Ace of Cups, the Emperor, and the Page of Pentacles. You know, once again, an offer, new love. The Emperor is, you know, Aries energy, but it's also the energy of, you know, somebody that is in power, somebody that's in power that wants to come in. I feel like you're wondering, it's almost as if somebody's coming back from the past. Let's clarify this Emperor. You have the Emperor and the King of Wands, two very quick, you know, inspiring energies. Wow. Okay, so what is going on here? You have the Hierophant. So you have the Hierophant, and you have the Hierophant and the Emperor. And then you have the Ten of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. You know, I'm going to say, Gemini, that I feel like you have a huge shift in your career and money sector. I feel like for some of you, it could be in the love sector too. But, you know, the Emperor and the Hierophant are, you know, business, you know, top of the business, right? And then the Hierophant is a spiritual teacher. this comes in really quickly, okay? But I feel, okay, the message I'm getting is that in the end, it is an offer that is very much near and dear to your heart. But there's something that you have to give up. And the thing that you have to give up totally is your feelings of unworthiness. I feel as if this review that you're going through, okay, is on your path in order to prepare you for something that is huge. You've had that huge fame or whatever, okay, on your radar for some time. I think you're going to be disappointed initially because it's like it's not coming in, right? It's going to send you into these dark thoughts. But at the same time, I feel like you're going to be going through this review, okay? I really encourage you, okay, to really take notes during that kind of review process. I'm hearing 3. So and this is the number 3. I think it may be the first 3 months. So October, November, till the end of 2022. I feel like things are going to slow down. You're going to go into this review process, going back and looking at how you navigated all of this. There's something that you did when you were navigating through all of the disappointment, the heartache, okay, that you have given up. It's like you have to go back through that review. It could be the meditating. It could be taking really good care of yourself physically. It could be having strong bonds in your life, people that you can count on. There's something that you have to, you're going to do that review. And when you do that review, you recognize, I don't meditate as much. I don't journal. I'm not getting 8 hours of sleep. Like you've left something behind. In other words, you threw something out of the boat, but it's something that you want back. It's kind of like throwing a life preserver, right, out to something that you threw out of the boat. But I don't think you knew that you know that you threw it out of the boat, if that makes sense. It's just kind of like you moved on from it. Like you got busy building your business. Things started getting better for you, right? And it's kind of like you stopped meditating, right? Because you just didn't have time. So you stopped meditating. But Spirit is saying it's time to come back in to some of those, I think especially spiritual practices, taking care of your body, those processes, those habits. It's really important because what's going to happen is you are going to, I feel like if you don't start looking at this, okay, what's going to happen is you are physically going to feel depleted. And this is just lovely, okay? I can't tell you. You have something huge here. It's almost like a warning. It's kind of like Gemini. We're slowing you down because you're not really ready for the big whatever this is coming in. It's a gift from the universe, you know? It's a phone call from somebody, you know, that has seen what you have been trying to start. Maybe you started a Reiki salon or, you know, some kind of, you know, help for, you know, therapy, counseling, legal advice, or something to help people that have been through a journey similar to yours, because out of your pain came your purpose. And I think you've already stepped onto that path. I think, you know, from your comments, a lot of you have stepped into that. But it's kind of like this is coming in so quickly and it's so big, okay? I don't feel like Spirit thinks you're ready for it, maybe physically, okay? You don't have the routines in place in order to be able to allow this to continue. You're still moving forward. They're just slowing you down. So if you've started making money with your spiritual business or something like that, and then it starts depleting, okay, this is the reason why. you're focusing too much on making the money or whatever, getting all excited about that, but you're not going back to what your purpose is, the why of what you started. Because it's almost like you're getting really excited because money may be starting to finally come in, but you're also throwing out some of those wonderful habits and belief systems that you put into place. It's almost like, well, I don't need them anymore. It's kind of like, okay, this is good. Things are good. It's kind of interesting, right? So let's take a look at your advice. Know that you're deserving to stay focused on what it is that you truly want for yourself in your life. It's a little bit of, I can't remember. I think it was you, something about fancy pants. It's almost as if Spirit is saying, in order to be the Hierophant, I feel like you're the Hierophant and the Emperor. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of things in place, support systems around you to be able to sustain that, right? And you are deserving of it. You are truly deserving of this. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Yeah, you're having the victory. I feel like you're going to be, I think the options are just going to be coming in so quickly. You're going to see victory in this, but your fears, once again, may kind of like, hold you back. It's understanding. Your advice is understand, stay here. Even when things maybe don't go the way that you want them to, it's kind of like go back to what you know. Seriously, go back to what you know. Yeah, because underneath here, you're moving on. Look, you're moving on from your energy of being kind of stuck, of feeling like you don't deserve it. You deserve it, okay? Because this energy just keeps coming up. You could start making an incredible amount of money, Gemini. I know that won't be for everyone, but if you make an incredible amount of money, you may suddenly feel like, am I really worthy of this? You may feel a little bit like, am I really worthy of it? Are my spiritual gifts really as wonderful as I think they are? Interesting. Your soul truth card. Am I consistently showing up? Some trade their dreams for comfort, yet comfort is the enemy of progress. Success requires showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it feels uncomfortable. It takes guts and an endless vision to stay consistent to your dream. Journal where you can be more consistent in your life in alignment with your soulful goals, then show up. Okay, so Gemini, I really feel like this is Spirit coming in and saying, do you have those people, those routines, those habits, that mindset that is in alignment with who you are and where you are wanting to go? Are you consistently showing up? You're not lazy, Gemini. I know that. You're not lazy at all. It's not about laziness. I feel as if it's almost like it's almost as if Spirit is saying, Gemini, this is just so important. What the work that you have to do, you may feel like it's not that important. You may be comparing yourself to other people that you deem more successful or more spiritual or more of a healer or whatever. And you may start to go into this energy, right? This is a message from Spirit that says, Gemini, I mean, these came out together, right? It's kind of like, Gemini, there's something really big for you. And it's really about get ready, right? Put the people, the places, the things in place, because this is work that is going to be near and dear to your heart. I feel like for some of you, the money starts coming in, it starts taking off, and then you're kind of like, okay, I don't have time for fun or whatever. And you may feel like you're overworking yourself, right? Depleting your joy and happiness, with the people that you really care about. And once again, it's kind of like, then schedule the fun. Schedule the fun. Because the fun is very important. right? It's about finding that balance, you know, between work and play, pleasure, you know, having pleasure in your life. So anyway, well, Gemini, interesting reading. It really is. It has a lot of food for thought. It really does. You know, I always feel like it's interesting that all of the readings, you know, I get to hear all of them. And the readings really, there's always a tidbit that you can take. And there's a really kind of an interesting lesson in this one, I think. So I do personal readings. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. And I do really, truly appreciate all of your support through likes, comments, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.